Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hints of Hisui podcast. We're back for, I couldn't even tell you what episode. Is this episode 11?
12,
I think
12,
it's 12.
12? We're at 12 already? Okay, yeah,
12.
we're at 12. I am your interim host, Cade, and I'm joined by Ethy and Tom.
Hello, hello.
Wolf Tycho is unfortunately unable to be here today. I believe he is on some sort of vacation, so everybody in the comments make sure to wish a good vacation to Wolf Tycho. And also, if you didn't do it last episode, wish Wolf Tycho a happy birthday. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe, and he didn't even bring it up. Which, come on, dude. Come on.
What a dweeb.
He makes us
I made a
look like
big deal about my
asses.
birthday.
Yeah. So yeah, but last episode, I hope everybody went and watched last episode. It was really, really great. Thank you so much to Orpoke for taking the time out of her day to come on and just, shoot the breeze with us talking about fan games for over an hour and a half, I'm pretty sure, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
It was four people yapping a long time. But I think let's just start off by, like, at least for me and Tom, what's like one thing that like stood out to you, Tom, that you like still remember about just talking with Orpoke for that time?
I guess because obviously before the podcast episode last week, I knew who Oripok was. I've played Uranium. I haven't played Flux, but I know about Flux. I've seen a bit about it. I've seen her on Twitter. I've seen her on the old Relic Castle a little bit. Even saw a little bit of her on Twitch. But I didn't really feel how enthusiastic she was about everything to do with fan games before last week, and that's, I guess, something that stood out to me. Like, she really cares. She's got the hobby motivation right there. You can feel it, which I thought was really cool.
Heck yeah.
Definitely the motivation was there. She was very cheerful and like very happy to discuss fan games, which like I am not always the most excited to talk about fan games. Like, I think, like, going off of that, just how positive she was about fan games as well is like definitely something that like I am definitely not like that. And I think there aren't a lot of people, I think, on the internet who are that positive on fan games as she is.
Yeah, you see, like, a lot of people get, like, almost jaded by fan games, which sounds really goddamn stupid considering it's a hobby, but, like, people get really into it and then they get really worn out. They find it really tough and they take it a bit too seriously. But, her heart was in it.
Yeah.
And especially, how long has she been doing this?
I mean, we went back to like the ancient times, or she went back to the ancient times, talking about how like she and JV like, started Uranium. Right? She was like, yeah, it's been 8 years since Uranium came out or something like that, and then Uranium has been in development for 9 years. So we do the math, that's what, over 15 years ago, which is
sweet mercy. You'd
absolutely
15 years of doing anything, you'd get tired of it, or most people would.
Yeah.
I've been doing nursing for 11 and I'm
especially something so like tedious and time consuming as like developing games.
So heck yeah, more power to her.
Yeah. I think I had a few takeaways, the first of which is just I did not know anything about Poke Engine. like that much at all, and that
Yeah.
is like a complete blind spot in my knowledge in terms of Pokemon fan games and the Pokemon community. So just to hear like a lot about it in that podcast was really enlightening. Definitely got me motivated to go check out some of those games at some point. Like I've added them to the list.
Nice.
I guess, Efi, did you know about Poke Engine?
Mm-mm.
It's really interesting, just like
Yeah.
the concept in general of fan game hub website.
I'll have to look
That-
more into it.
That like and packaged as an MMO too is really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then my other takeaway was just like how much she thinks about like the little details.
Yeah.
Like we had a whole ass like probably like almost 5-minute discussion about like the like aspect ratio of Flux, and just like thinking about like the little, just how much thought goes into like the little things was like very impressive to me, I feel like.
Definitely.
And there were other like other little things, right? Not to bring up Overworld Shadows, but I feel like that qualifies as like a little thing that you think about, right? In terms of fan
Yeah.
and how passionate she was about those little things is really cool. That's like, that shows like to me like you're a game design nerd at that point. I mean that in the most
absolutely.
positive way possible, because I am
Yeah.
that 100% as well.
And like with the Pokemon animations, where she talked about how like doing it in such a way that it replicated the vibe like Black and White 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressive.
It's like, yeah, it's so impressive. And like the the one she sent of I forget what the thing's called. They're like one of my favorites. Like I call it the trash bird. I don't know why I call it a
Yeah,
trash
the
bird.
trash bird Pokemon.
It's so good. It's so good. You guys don't get to see that one though. You'll have to wait for Flux 2.0 or whatever the update's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other takeaways, comments about that interview or episode at all?
I guess that's the main thing. Just Oreopoke was a certified yapper, but in the most insightful way, which is just very respectable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Much more insightful than me, gotta say.
Don't dig yourself too hard. I don't think I can beat Ori either.
I was going to say, I mean,
bringing
that
it up
like
as a competition.
that's a high bar though.
Yeah.
Like Oripoke, it sounds like Oripoke sets the bar really high.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially if she's been doing this for 15 years. Yeah, no, that beats a lot of people. We have people in the fan game community that were like 1 or 2 when they started doing this. Not to name any names.
Didn't
AKA
Tycho-
Andy.
Yeah, literally. Andy was
Just
like-
turned 17.
Yeah, like that's probably right about that time. And he was talking about how Uranium came out in middle school for him. Like, what? I'm sorry. That doesn't compute up here. Like,
No. Oh, that's wild.
yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, we have also, I think it's been 2 weeks for me, maybe only 2 episodes, since we've talked about kind of what fan games and what other video games we've been playing. So, someone want to start off yapping about their their favorite
Sure
favorite
thing.
games they've been playing.
So I've still just been playing a bunch of Elden Ring DLC, slowly getting through that. But apart from that, I started a new Metroidvania called Jassault, Steam, and Cinder. Just very like obviously Castlevania, very Metroid inspired, and Metroidvania. It takes place in like a steampunk world, but like the steampunk energy comes from like demons deep in the past. It's got like a bunch of pretty cool lore to it from what I've seen so far. I haven't finished it yet, so I can't completely comment on the plot, but it seems like it's setting up for some pretty interesting story and lore stuff. What really stands out to me about it, bro, is just the art in the game is completely phenomenal. Just beautiful, beautiful pixel work in the environments and the characters and the animations. Really, really cool. So if you're someone who likes Metroidvanias such as Hollow Knight or Ender Lilies or Blasphemous, definitely recommend Jassault, Steam, and Cinder. And it seems like it's not too long, so it won't take over your whole life, which I definitely appreciate in a game now.
Would you
as I
say
try to
Elden
take on
Ring?
Elden Ring.
Would you say Elden Ring is taking over your life?
Most definitely. I mean, I'm 65 hours into that game, and I almost wish it ended 40 hours ago, but that's okay.
Oof.
I feel like, in my opinion, 20 hours is like the perfect playtime for like a full game, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
Yeah. I might even argue lower than that, honestly, but
yeah.
maybe that's just my ADHD brain talking. I don't know.
Mm.
And when I look at Binding of Isaac, and I have 650 hours on that. That's okay, because that's just a game I come back to and play a little bit of every week or so.
650 hours. And Binding of Isaac is a story game, right?
No, it's not. It's not story. It's it's a roguelite.
Oh, never mind. What?
Okay,
I must be
that's
thinking of a different game then.
It
I
does
was
have
like,
a story.
600, 650 hours for any story game is absolutely absurd.
That's insane. I would no, never. Yeah. What's like a long story game that I've played that's not a JRPG?
You played Red Dead?
Elden Ring. I've not played Red Dead, but I heard 2 is absolutely a behemoth.
Does Breath of the Wild count as JRPG?
I guess, but the main story of Breath of the Wild, you could probably get through that in like 10.
Yeah, but
20
like,
hours. But no one does that.
yeah, my playtime in Breath of the Wild was insane.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I had a big playtime. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, was a bit less. But I like did all the side quests in Breath of the Wild and all the shrines.
You did all 120 shrines in Breath of the Wild.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not that big of a hurdle, I feel like.
What? In your first playthrough?
First playthrough, yeah. I mean, Wild I played a second time.
Dude, I have a friend who's played Breath of the Wild like 4 or 5 times. So, and he's like, yeah, in every single one I do all 120 shrines. I'm like, bro,
Wow.
in my first playthrough, I did 72.
You're like halfway there.
Yeah, and all the ones that I didn't do are shrine quests. Like, I'm not figuring that stuff out.
Those are like the ones that are actually a tiny bit fun.
Yeah, but then I have to go backtrack and figure out what I'm missing, and then like I have to go
Yeah.
decipher the riddle for most of them. And for
Did you do
me,
the
like
Tarrytown?
no, I did
There's,
not
like, a
actually do
side
that.
quest.
I didn't do that.
Really?
I've like, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't do that. I just like never went around that area at like night or whatever that you need to do. Or no, it's not that. You just need to collect wood or whatever, right?
You
And
need to collect a crap ton of wood.
Yeah, and I just like, I don't know if I was just not paying attention or I didn't connect the dots or what, but I didn't do that. And then all of a sudden I'm watching like video essays on Breath of the Wild, and I'm seeing this whole town like sprouted up, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing this. And I like,
Yeah.
granted, I didn't explore every square inch of the map. Like the Hebrew Mountains, I did. Yeah, I kind of went on the main pathways, but I didn't go deep into the depths of the mountains, right? And like, I'm like, surely there's not a town there. It doesn't look like a cold climate. And then I go back and I figure out what it was, and I'm like, wow, like that's definitely like something that I would normally do in a
Yeah,
story
it's
game.
a wonderful side quest for Tarrytown
Yeah,
stuff. But you're right, it is locked behind like the most tedious crap of collecting like 70 wood or something.
that's why.
Why? But it
Yeah,
is.
no, I probably would have done that too if I ever played the game.
Yeah.
Did you do the DLC for Breath of the Wild?
No, I didn't.
Do you
I've, like-
plan to or not really?
No. I'm just gonna go straight into Tears
Really?
of the Kingdom. Yeah, dude, I spent 5 months beating Breath of the Wild. I'm not gonna take more time playing that game.
But the DLC is good. It's fun.
I mean, maybe at some point, but
You don't want
Nintendo
the
has already
bugs.
gotten enough of my money, and I've got so many other games that I want to play.
Mm. But
I've heard it's really
motorbike-
good, though. I've heard it's very good, just like Breath of the Wild.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just like a fun like I don't know, like side dish to the game almost. It has some fun side challenges. It has one extra dungeon, which is pretty cool.
Mm.
Oh, it has a really dope boss as well.
Hmm.
Most importantly, it has bike.
Bike.
Very
The bike
important.
is pretty cool.
I mean, from my understanding of Tears of the Kingdom, isn't everything a bike? If you try hard enough.
can make anything.
Yeah, anything.
Anything's a
Straight on.
bike if you try hard enough.
True. You have to be pretty
Sure.
skilled for some things to become a bike, but yeah.
Do you have a start date on Tears of the Kingdom?
Me?
Hmm.
No.
No.
It'll probably be a good few years before I pick that up again. I like, look, when I say like two things, when I say these things, I very much mean them. Number one, that I have a massive backlog. I have a massive backlog, and I have a number of games that I like really want to beat. And I'm also like trying to get more into like indie games. So I think that's another reason why like I don't want to just rush straight into Tears of the Kingdom. Plus,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
take a long time to play these games. Like, it's not that like my play times get so crazy. It's just that like I
Finding
play
time to
games
play.
in like when I only stream for 2 hours a night, that's like because I can't like stay in one spot and play a game for that long.
Mm.
Like
I feel bad.
I'm so stubborn when it comes to that. Like I need to feel like I'm doing something.
Keep
And
you dying.
yeah, I hope not. And like if I'm sitting in one spot, like somehow I've tricked my brain already into thinking that like somehow playing video games is useful enough that it's not a waste of time for me. So that's already an achievement in itself. Then to get to the next level of me sitting in one spot for more than 2 hours, that's when it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, like I need to go get up and do something else. Normally that's go eat, which is not a great alternative.
Oh, it's important.
Well, yeah, no. I'm talking about snacking. I'm not talking about like eating meals that you need to sustain.
Right.
So yeah. So when I say Breath of the Wild took me 5 months, that might be an understatement. It might have taken me 6 months, honestly. So great game, but like I can only play that many games, or like games that long every so often. Like,
Mm.
I can get into this, and maybe we can get into this now, or maybe not. But I just, like, I finished Breath of the Wild. Say that's what, like a 60-hour game, maybe? I'd say that's
Yeah.
roughly my playtime. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. The next, like, that game, I don't want to say burnt me out of games, but burnt me out of long games. I cannot go through a long slog and then go right into another long slog. Like, the
I
game
get
that I
the feeling.
just beat, Killer Frequency, took me 5 hours to beat. Granted, that took me a month to play, still. For a few reasons. Number one, it's a horror game, and I'm a fucking scaredy cat. Number two, I was on vacation for a week, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess my point is, I definitely do want to play Tears of the Kingdom, but it's not something that like I'm clamoring to get to for many different reasons. Nothing, and honestly, not many of them are because of the game itself. It's more like external, like me factors.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious because I had like a similar. I often find it really hard to actually get through games, especially if they're over like 10 hours. But how long did I know you started Scarlet and Violet quite late, right?
Yes.
Post-launch. How long did it take you to get through it? Because
Like in terms of playtime, or in terms of how like
months. Because I'm just checking.
Dude,
my, like,
oh my god.
Twitter
So
now.
here's the thing. The reason I started Scarlet and Violet late is because the game came out like I think 2 or 3 weeks after God of War Ragnarok came out. And normally I'm a Pokemon simp, but I'm not a Pokemon simp over a God of War game. So I started playing that game, and then I think I remember literally going to the store and buying Scarlet and Violet cartridge like right before the start of New Year 2023. So let's say I roughly started around then. And
December.
Granted, the first, let's say, semester, a few months past then of 2023 was one of the most chaotic times of my life in a very good way for most of it, but that meant I didn't have a lot of time to play video games because I started I finished God of War Ragnarok I think in June of 2023, and I had started in November. I didn't finish Scarlet and Violet, I'm pretty sure, till July.
Oops.
Yeah.
It took me 7 months to play Scarlet and Violet. Now, that wasn't the only game I was playing, and I had a lot of other shit going on, but that just, I think, puts into perspective how slow I play games. But you also have to understand, during that time, I was graduating college, I was securing a full-time job, I had a lot of other things, personal things happen in my life, so stuff like that.
Fair.
So yeah, in terms
I can't
of
say
hours
much because
played,
I completed it day 2.
well, let me
my
tell you
God.
this. Now that I'm into Pokemon video essays and I don't have school, I'm very hyped to go play through ZA, and I've cooked up a few ideas of how I want to deal with Legend ZA on my channel, but that's we're getting far off of the point of. Yeah, it actually did take me 7 months to beat Scarlet and Violet, which sounds insane. But granted, I was being thorough as well, right? It's an open world game. I want to though I was not as thorough as I should have been. I don't think I picked up a single stake in the ground for the is it the Treasures of
Treasures of Ruin.
Treasures of Ruin.
Yeah.
I don't think I picked up one of those throughout my entire playthrough of Scarlet and Violet. So not super, but I mean, I can go on about how I didn't find the world of Scarlet and Violet engaging, and that's probably part of the reason why it not only took me 7 months to finish the game, but also, I didn't like do a ton of the optional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plus, I was trying to play it blind, and I feel like you'd be lying to yourself for a lot of people if they didn't like go and look up extra things online to get those things.
Oh yeah, especially getting all of the
stakes.
stakes.
Yeah, because they're just in random spots. I feel like, you know.
It's really
Yeah.
badly done. I had to like use a fan map that like divided it into smaller sections and told you how many words in each small section. And
Mm-hmm.
that actually made it like quite fun because then I got to do each small section, tick it off, go on to the next one, and it felt like a lot more manageable.
Yeah,
But,
that's
that was
that's
a fan
cool.
map, not in the game.
Oh, of course not. No. They would never do that in game.
Yeah.
Nope. I just use
Because
Cerebi.
apparently collectibles can't be fun, according to
Nope.
Game Freak, when they make their 104 Spiritomb orbs in Legends Arceus.
Blech. I don't know if I
Yeah.
ever did that. I don't know if I ever finished that.
Oh, I most definitely did not do that. I almost stopped playing Legends Arceus before the final boss. Like I
As
caught
in like the Volo fight?
As
or
in
the
Volo,
Arceus
yeah.
fight?
Oh no, I didn't get
Does
to
that mean-
Arceus.
Both of you haven't fought Arceus then?
I fought Arceus.
Then you must
I-
have done Spiritomb.
So don't you need to do the Spiritomb thing for Arceus?
You need to do the Spiritomb thing for Arceus, which is stupid, but... Because
Yeah,
that's
no.
how you get the Spiritomb Dex entry.
I almost just put the game down after I got Dialga or Palkia. I don't even remember which one you get, or if it's a choice or whatever, but I got one of them or both of them or however the fuck it goes. And then I was like, oh, that's the end of the game, right? Like, I think the credits roll after you beat them, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I hit credits roll, I'm done with this game. And then I think a few days later, the next day or whatever, I picked it up and I was like, wait, I'm not done? So, and then
I remember
like,
I traded for Spiritomb.
Ah.
So someone else did it and I got to reap the benefits.
I mean, so
Well, that's
valid.
Probably the fun way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then I almost rage quit the Volo fight because
It's
the Volo
it's
fight.
something. Yeah.
Now that I look back at it, I'm like, holy shit, Pokemon actually did a good, difficult final boss. Back then, I was like, you're fucking... Like, I was at my wit's end. I was like, please, can I just check this box and say I beat the game? But my inner self doesn't let me do that until I beat the final boss.
Like yeah, it's cool. And it's got like cool stakes to it. I feel like the whole Volo thing is very like good in that atmosphere. But when you're playing it, you definitely feel like this is bullshit. This is the kind of fight that like Reborn would throw at you, having to do a 6-party Pokemon fight, and then you go into a second fight straight afterwards, no healing in between.
Yeah.
It's some like sadistic fan game level of stuff.
But now I've been trained in the fires of Ash and Frost, so I'm pretty sure that battle would be a breeze for me, but... Also, I think my Pokemon were probably underleveled for that, because I literally just went straight. Like, I stopped doing all of the optional stuff by the time, like, the story really ramped up. Just because... And I can... This will probably get brought up in some video essay I do of Legends ZA, especially the gameplay loop is the same, but, you know, the magic, the freshness of the gameplay loop of Legends Arceus in the beginning is great, but by the end of it, it's a slog, man.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it a bit more, but definitely, I guess, depends on the person as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel ya.
Yeah, that was a long aside. Tom, was that what game were we even talking about?
We trailed a bit. We were talking about Gestalt, which is like a new Metroidvania, and then games that take a long time to beat, Elden Ring,
Oh yeah.
so on and so on. But you did mention, I want to come back to this because you mentioned it. You said like you're planning to play more indie games. Do you have anything on your list?
Yeah, well, so actually I'll segue this into the fact that I just beat the game after Breath of the Wild called Killer Frequency. This was the game, if you remember, I don't know, however many fucking weeks ago, where I was like
pepper spray, taser.
baton, pepper spray, or taser. Because it was like a week or at least a few days gap between when I was reacting to the thing and then when I was playing the game. This dude had a mask on. I don't know why the fuck I picked pepper spray.
No, I
sure
I was rooting for pepper spray.
I thought pepper spray was the right idea too, but turns out I don't know, it's probably taser or something like that.
They're probably all wrong. I'm sure some crap happens no matter what you pick.
No, because you can save every single person in that game, and when I finished it,
you
I
let
was like,
someone die.
oh, I think 3 people die, but I saved like
It's not
I think there
too
were
bad.
like at least like 15 to 20 people total, so I saved the rest of them.
That's not
Right,
bad.
right.
But yeah, it is an indie game, and it's really interesting. Here, let me pull up my I use Backlogged, if anybody has heard of the website, to like track the games that I've played, and I just want to bring up the review. But I think, it's a really good game, but I feel like there are definitely people, like, you have to know what you're going to get, because if you are expecting something else and you don't get it, then you're going to be in for like a shock, because this game is very much what it is and is not anything else, if that makes sense. The aesthetic is great. Like, you're literally a radio host and you're playing like 80s vaporwave music, like amazing. Like, that's what was advertised to me when I saw the game originally, and I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds so fun. Like, you literally get to spin records in the game. Like, that's great. And the fact that you're kind of doing like a very unique form of puzzle solving. So like, people are essentially calling into your radio station with problems, and then you kind of have to like scavenge throughout your radio station for like clues and like things that you go back, and then you're like directing other people to like solve these problems that they're having. So I think that, and then the story was really good. It kept twisting and turning. I wouldn't say the characters are very complex. It has a very humorous tinge to it, in terms of 80s horror humor type of thing. Which actually, I thought it was pretty funny. There's like this one pizza place that keeps like calling in, like is literally using like this radio time where there's a fucking serial killer on the loose to advertise their fucking pizza. Which is so funny.
More power to them, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
that's one way to get the word out there.
Yeah.
Our delivery drivers are willing to risk their lives while there's a serial killer out there to deliver you our high quality pizza.
Yeah. I think in terms of like things that I wasn't a super big fan of in the game, I think the voice acting wasn't great. They had like, other than the 2 main characters, they were very well voice acted, but I think like when it got to side characters, there were like multiple voice actors, or one voice actor had to do like multiple side characters, and it was like kind of obvious, and like it seemed like almost like they recorded in like a different studio, or like their stuff wasn't mixed well. I'm not an audio guy, so I don't know exactly the stuff of that. And then like graphically, the game is very simple, and well, that's not a bad thing. I think the thing that I was kind of a little upset about is that there's only one character model made in the entire game that you see in the entire game. And I feel like because could have used a few more to make the game a little bit better.
Mm.
And the best thing is that there was like there weren't a ton of horror tropes, even though this is a horror game, right? There was like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 jump scares the entire time, and they weren't like Five Nights at Freddy's, just I'm here to jump scare you type things. You know? So I'd say yeah, it was kind of the game that I was looking for. Playing through it, you know, if that makes sense.
It sounds really interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I would say though, if you're gonna pick up this game, like, you'll know within like the first half hour whether or not you want to finish the game. Like, the game has a 1-track mind, so you'll know. And I would urge you, if you don't enjoy the game right at the beginning, to not finish it, because you're gonna have the same thing. And the game doesn't wear out its welcome either, being at 5 hours, right? I think if it was a little bit longer, it could have worn out its welcome. So really solid game though.
Yeah, just like looking at the screenshots, it looks super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms
I've
of,
got it
like,
on my list.
Games that like other indie games, I just like, I don't know, there's just like this one dude on TikTok that like I don't even know if I'm following him, but I get like all of his TikToks, and like he loves talking about indie games, and like if there's an indie game that he's talking about that looks interesting to me, it goes on the list. The 2 indie games this year that like he seems to love are Animal Well and Nine Souls. I've only heard great things about Animal Well, even though I'm not a Metroidvania guy. And I think Nine Souls is also a Metroidvania.
Most definitely.
It like, I don't know. Like, I'll at least try these games out, right? They're not the $70 that
No, yeah.
that AAA games are, right? So, and there's obviously some older games that I need to like go back and pick up. I have a coworker who won't shut up about Outer Wilds to me, and I've literally heard it's like the best video game ever made. So, I'm gonna have to play that at some point.
I need to play that too. Yeah.
Me too.
There's like Tunic, which is obviously a great game. Hades, just like games that I just never played when they originally came out that I want to play at some point.
Oh yeah.
The next game that I'm playing is called Chance of Sonar, which is really interesting. It's like a puzzle solving game. You're like kind of decoding a language, I think. So, very interested. I haven't started
How do you spell that?
Chance of, and then Sonar is SENNAAR.
Is it on Steam or?
I believe it's on Steam. It says Windows, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Oh, I'm so dumb. I was
and
writing
Switch.
Chance. Oh, I've heard vaguely of this. Yeah, it's like a linguistic game. You kind of old civilization and learn their syntax, their words, and piece it together.
Yeah, which like that sounds kind of interesting, and it's again another like shorter game too, right? Like I feel like I can play more games without having to dedicate months of my life to one game, right? So that was nice.
Have you seen Arrival, the movie?
No, I have not.
Mm-mm.
Do you know it, Ify?
I haven't heard of it.
Really? Arrival? Just it's got Hawkeye in it.
That looks familiar. I've not seen it though.
But essentially about linguistics and figuring out an alien language. And so Chance of Sonar reminds me a lot of it.
Interesting.
Okay.
The main characters of it are just linguistics trying to figure out how to communicate and figure out their language.
I'll really put that on my list.
Yeah.
Just like I need to put what was that new movie that just came out?
The
Twister
Minions
2?
movies?
Twister 2?
Twister.
Yeah. Wait, that's the movie.
One of my
you're talking
mods. Twister's the movie I'm thinking about that just came out that I have on my list that I want to watch, but I just haven't gotten to yet.
about? Well, it's
One of my
Twister
mods is a
2,
big
right?
a
'Cause
big
the first one was...
weather dweeb.
Speaking of like weather, that's my like weird YouTube niche that I've been on recently. It's just like random weather events, like tornadoes specifically.
Wow.
I don't know why. Like last year, I was on this like massive like architecture like random YouTube niche, which granted,
Mhm.
all of these things are like so interesting. Like
Yeah.
that's so cool.
No, I feel you. Right now, mine's been like tiny homes and RV living.
Oh yeah, I was on one of those as well at some point.
Huh.
That would be like I've convinced myself that my like ideal retirement life would just be like owning a super bougie like RV and just like driving around the country.
Heck yeah.
That'd be sweet.
And then would I actually go outside at all? No, I'd probably just play video games inside the RV.
I don't blame you one bit.
I guess, Ify, have you had anything you've been playing, or you want to talk about Dawn Trail?
Without spoiling anything, I'm at level 97, and I went through one of those where it said several cutscenes will play in sequence. Please set aside enough time to watch them. Things happened. I cried. I can't say much more for the sake of like new game spoilers. I don't know how many people watch our stuff and also play Dawn Trail, so I don't want to spoil stuff. But I was in voice call with a couple of friends and just crying. It's been a trip. Without giving too much away, to the people who do know, I've entered the Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome?
The Thunder.
Oh, Mad
It is
Max?
literally a
I was gonna
Thunderdome.
say.
It is literally a Thunderdome.
That's wild.
Damn. Didn't know Final Fantasy went that hard.
Crazy.
I wish I could talk more about it, but I don't want to spoil people on stuff. I don't know when the statute of like spoilers ends for stuff. Like if I talk about Endwalker, yeah, I cried at it in Endwalker too, but it wasn't until like the very end of Endwalker when I was crying, but that was a while ago.
Final
I checked my
Fantasy
in-game
14.
time.
Yeah.
I checked
How
my
much is
in-game
your
time.
in-game time?
I have spent 2,276 hours in that game,
God.
which is
Wow.
about 90, almost 95 days.
See, that's
Yep.
like I would not want to see that in perspective.
Final Fantasy 14. It's
Yeah.
It is a good game. I've also like dedicated a lot of time to like just hanging out with people and getting a lot of classes up to higher levels. If that's not your cup of tea and you just want to do the story, it's probably you'll only spend like maybe 1/10 of the time. And probably 1/10 of the price. Because it's
I
a
guess,
subscription.
Yeah. Oh,
Time is money.
okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh my god.
Also, did you guys know that we're a Pokemon fan game podcast?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, wow. Are we?
Believe it or
Nintendo,
not, we are.
Not Final Fantasy, not video games.
We're not just a general video game podcast.
Not
We're-
just general video games. I was gonna
I
start
don't mind
talking
if
about
they
Kingdom
become like-
Hearts.
Oh yeah, you can talk
Oh,
about
Kingdom
Kingdom Hearts.
Hearts.
I thought we were done talking about it.
We can be for
No,
the sake
no,
of
I don't care. I don't got anywhere to be. In 45 minutes I do, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe one day we can become an indie game podcast.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're still young. We could do a little of both.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah, so what is going on in the fan game sphere recently?
Well, have
Well,
any of
we've
you
had-
guys been playing Pokemon fan games at all? Or like any points to comment on fan games that you've been playing recently? Or
I've been playing more of Vanguard. I've been looking forward. The story's feeling like it's starting to pick up a little more. My big problem with like the level cap that's constantly like, oh, I moved up 2 levels, I moved up 3 levels. The chapters are getting a little shorter where I'm at right now. Like in one stream I went up like 2 or 3 chapters, so I went up like 5 or 6 levels in one stream. So
Do you think
I'm
that's good or
hoping this
bad?
kind of progresses, because
That's
the level
interesting
caps.
that like the level cap seems to be so like strict
Mhm.
in terms of like
And
levels
so
moving up.
incremental.
Yeah. And this is like this kind of, I don't know if we want to have this discussion, but like I've always thought of like the reason that Pokemon levels have gotten like so high, I feel like is because of like the new EXP share. I assume Vanguard has like the Gen 6 EXP share.
Yeah, and I think I tried turning it off and it wouldn't let me. Actually, I'm
Oh,
going
wow.
to try and figure that out right now.
My thought of that, now this isn't for every fan game, right? Because I think the new Gen 6 EXP share actually allows like jam games to have like larger level jumps, which is more interesting. But for longer fan games, do you think it would be interesting? Because I've thought of this. I obviously am not developing fan games, so I wouldn't put this in a game. But what if you just made like the base experience gain of like everything lower, but like the EXP share is like always on? Do you think that would fix like the level problem, so to speak, in a lot of fan games? Like, because I feel like level caps are there just so the levels don't get too crazy by the end of the game. Do you think that lowering the base EXP gain would be useful, or do you think like maybe the level caps are more in there just to keep the game more difficult for people?
I guess in my point of view, I feel like lowering the XP game wouldn't so much, except to let you have like a longer fan game. For me, at least, what I appreciate about level caps is like kind of what you said. You can set difficulty, but it also means you can be really generous with the amount of XP you get, because the player won't level up, and that means that they can change party members as many times as they want. They can do whatever they want, and they'll still be able to easily become a level fit for the challenge that's ahead of them.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the like main thing about having level caps, being able to be that frivolous with XP and not have to worry about balance.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I kind of like the thought of having like EXP cut in half, or even like 1/5. So you have to be a little more meticulous with which Pokemon you have, which Pokemon you use. Because I'm one of those people, I have an entire box that's in rotation. I don't have a party that's got like plus like 2 or 3 extras that I rotate in and out. No, I swap my entire party around constantly. That's something that I do in just about every game. So to have like the thought of like I have to be really conservative with my EXP gain would be more of a challenge for me. It would be interesting to see, like it would give me more of a challenge and make me think more on what Pokemon I'm using my time on.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think, are there any fan games that only let you get a set amount of XP. Like you can only do so many battles in the whole game.
Not that I know of. I think that would be, I would have a big problem with that game if it did.
I think it
exist.
would
Yeah.
not play well, but it could
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not saying like having a cap on the amount of experience you can get. I'm just saying like just generally lowering it
Yeah,
across
yeah.
the board.
Yeah.
But Tom, you make a good point because
Mm-hmm.
it does allow the larger amount of experience that you can get does allow for more interchangeability among party members, which is something that I'm getting more and more accustomed to, and I think like especially with
Post-Ashen
games.
Frost.
What?
Is that post-Ashen Frost?
Yeah, it's post Ashen Frost, and I think just like a product of a lot of these games coming out that have like with Vanguard and with like other games that have all of these regionals, have so many like custom. Essentially, I think of regionals as fake mon. So either you have fake mon or regionals or robots or whatever the fuck you're battling with. Like, if it's new, that means I'm probably gonna want to use it. So being able to have that amount of experience available, so you can like interswitch your Pokemon like that, so you can use as many new things as you possibly can, is probably like gonna be really useful. I didn't think about it like that.
I mean, that's something I very much appreciated when I played a little bit of Reborn, because that's a game that completely asks you to change your party for like every gym encounter. But they give you XP out for Wazoo with little XP trainers and whatnot. So you don't really have to worry about grinding. But yeah.
Especially with the newer updates where you can just you can put in passwords to just like talk to the NPC and just immediately get EXP candies.
Yeah. Is that the main, like, is that your main like thought when you want to talk about Vanguard, ETH, or is there anything else?
That's about it. The story,
as well.
the story is starting to pick up, and I'm looking forward to where it's going. It feels like we're starting to get more into the characters' mystery, because the whole thing is you wake up, no memory, you only remember your name, and you suddenly join this Pokemon school. And I feel like we're starting to get more into like what's going on with the bad guys, what's going on with like you can tell that we're figuring something is wrong with like the fact that we're here, we're having more like visions, and it's interesting. We're building into something finally.
That's cool.
Plot is moving.
Plot's getting moving, and I'm looking forward to it.
Tom, I feel like maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you haven't been playing fan games recently.
I have not played any fan games recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got no fan games I can talk about really.
Gearing up for the jam.
Yeah. I mean, really, if I was gearing up for the jam, I should be finishing the Game Jam 9 games.
Oh well. For me, what I do is like, or sometimes I've done this. Sometimes it's just like forced because I can't. Like I have other things going on, but like something that will always get me motivated to play like Pokemon is just not playing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like forcing myself to not play it.
Yeah, just
that's why I'm
find time to stream. But,
yeah, I bet.
It is what it is.
I get you. That's why I'm streaming some Minecraft, just to get me away from Pokemon for a little bit, even though there's all of these other events going on in Scarlet and Violet. Like, I think next week, or this week when people are watching this, will be Shiny Tatsugiri and Mightiest Dondozo. I want to do some... I like shiny hunting.
It's a very chill, at least to watch. I don't know if it's chill for you because I saw a screen where there's like 20 Alolan Raichus on the screen at once, but
Yeah, it's fun when you know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to get better at knowing what I'm doing.
okay.
I guess in Cade, you've been playing Odyssey.
Yeah, I've played Odyssey a little bit. I haven't played it. It's been a while since I've been able to stream. Just because I don't know. Some nights I just don't feel like streaming, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like I don't know if I'm like burnt out or whatever, because like honestly I might just be burnt out on life, but
Valid.
I
Yeah.
think Odyssey is like really, really good so far. I love the idea of just Odyssey in general, right? With like the Yggdrasil labyrinth, the different like stratums to go through. The regional guides are really cool. I'm playing it a lot of the times when I'm streaming it. I have one of my friends, Liam, in call with me, and
Mm-hmm.
as like Odyssey is kind of like a what's the word? It's like a combination of like Pokemon, Made in Abyss, and Etrian Odyssey. And as someone who only knows about Pokemon out of those three, it's nice to have someone who's at least familiar with Made in Abyss in the call with me. He'll like call out, "Oh, this is in Made in Abyss. That's in Made in Abyss." Now, do I know anything? Do either of us know anything about Etrian Odyssey? No, but from my understanding, a lot of like the creatures in Etrian Odyssey are morphed into the regionals of Odyssey, which is really cool.
Oh.
And the regionals so far have been very, very interesting. Interesting typings and whatnot. And well, the story, just at the very end of the second stream, we got a hint as to what the story was going to be like. Hold up.
Ooh.
Because I watched a bit of the stream, and at least from what I saw, it's like at the start it's very open, and there's no real direction for story. But,
Not yet, and that's another thing in terms of like freedom. You just have a lot of freedom.
Nice.
There's just like a lot of freedom generally. Once you get access to the first stratum, there is a lot of freedom. You can do like a lot of side content, and that's where you're getting like, I almost got like paralysis of choice, right? Where you're like,
right.
like there's so much side stuff to do, and I don't know how much of it I should be doing before. Like am I gonna get more and more side content opened up to me as I go? And if that's the case, then I feel like I should be doing all the side content available to me now. So just like stuff like that, where like I don't know, I don't want to say, because I don't think it's the case, that anything about Odyssey the game has like got me burnt out from streaming and of life in general. I think it's just, I don't know. I actually have no idea what's got me burnt out on life, but something does, and that's why I don't think I've streamed this past week. Obviously, I'm hoping I've streamed since recently, if you're watching the podcast when it's been uploaded, but if not, then you can understand.
Have you not streamed this week? I swear.
I streamed, I believe, Sunday and Tuesday. I haven't streamed since Tuesday, which like for me is normally a pretty long while, I feel like. So not like, oh no, like it's not like I've gone missing or anything like that, but yeah. But yeah, Odyssey's really good. What's really interesting is that you start off with a Plusle and Minun, but almost everything in the game is double battles. So they get to feed off of each other in really cool and interesting ways. I don't know if they've been changed at all. Maybe the movesets have been changed. but it's nice to see those two like be able to feed off of each other, because otherwise I feel like I would never use a plus on mine unless they were like literally my starters. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
And you think it actually works? You get to see Plusle and mine and be useful in this context?
I mean, I've already dropped mine off of my team, but I've heard, because I had the dev in my chat for my second stream, and they were like, yeah, like Plusle is probably the best support Pokemon in the game. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep it.
See you, Minun.
Maybe I'll add Minun back onto the team, but I feel like if Minun's gonna be the attacker, I feel like there's gotta be other Pokemon that can attack,
Balance it
better than
out.
Minun.
Yeah.
You know? Plus, like, the 2 electric type isn't great for team composition. But just to give you an
No.
idea of this Plusle, it gets Heal Pulse. It has Heal Pulse, Helping Hand, Heal Bell, and Thunder Shock, I believe, right now. And it's like
Okay.
maybe level 17 or 18. So like great support. And one of the things about Odyssey is that you can't use items in battle. So Heal Pulse is broken.
Ooh.
So that's kind of the interesting thing, I guess.
Mm. And they have a new beta coming up in the near future?
Yeah, I don't think there's any dates. I feel like I guess it just in May. This is what happens when you play Ash and Frost, and I was like, oh, I remember it was only 2 games ago that had Odyssey released their last beta, and I was like, oh wait, that's because Ash and Frost took me many months.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are definitely posting screenshots on their Twitter and on their EV Expo thread of like progress going towards 4.0, which is their next version, which I believe will actually finish the game.
Wow.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, really cool. And also, I guess the one other thing that I didn't mention about Odyssey is I have beaten the fan game only allegations. I've now played a ROM hack in like the past 4 years.
True, it's a ROM hack, which is super impressive.
Yeah, that's like even more impressive, right? Like we're to the point where a ROM, we've been past the point, I would argue as well. But like where like a ROM hack of that quality is much more impressive than a fan game of that quality, I would argue. But
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, there's more like barriers you have to overcome with ROM hacking.
Mhm.
I guess that's it for fan games we've played, right?
yeah, I guess
I think so.
yeah, we could there's not been a ton of stuff, but it's been a few weeks, especially in the episode that I wasn't in. You guys, all the stuff in your jam segment got,
I guess
like edited out, or
before we
or
go into
whatever.
the jam segment, should we do your Q&A segment? Because there were some questions for you that you haven't
Oh.
had a chance to answer.
Oh yeah.
Sure, I'll yap.
Let's
I
see.
can
And there's
yap.
one question in particular I think I'd like to hear from you, but
Oh God, that's scary.
That is scary.
no, it's just a milk question. That's it. Don't
Oh,
be scared.
that is the
It's
scary
just a
question.
question.
That is so scary. I was looking forward to answering like something else. Come on now, this question.
Oh my
But we'll
God.
do the other questions too. Where's
Well, so my
yours?
retort to the whole milk tank milk drink question is, when another Pokemon uses milk drink, what milk are they drinking?
Right, yeah.
Because in
But I
that
think-
situation, then the milk tank is easily the one that makes the most sense, I would say.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm a supporter of Miltank using milk drink.
I think, who asked this question, by the way?
This was Kenny, by the way, which is somewhat surprising.
Kenny? Wow.
Kenny.
Maybe League finally got to him.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I feel like, I think we should not think about Pokemon and using moves, because I'm sure we'll come across a lot more disturbing things. Probably, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think potentially, right? It's normal for other creatures to drink their own species milk, so I don't see a massive problem with that.
Right?
What was the other argument?
Well, these jokers over here think it's weird for a Miltank to drink their own milk.
Well,
They
I
think
guess
it
it's
is.
disgusting.
I guess if it's like your own, then yeah, that's weird. But I don't like. Okay, if I'm really digging myself a hole here, I feel like. But so if I'm a Pokemon and I'm in a battle, which I'm going to face as a life or death situation, then in that scenario, I guess it would be, if that's your last resort to do something like that, then I guess it's acceptable.
I also think, like, when we had this discussion, myself included, but we were drawing parallels to, like, breastfeed into human examples. But
Well,
we
yeah,
need to
that's
remember,
what.
like, Miltank's an animal. Like, if you see a possum sucking on its own teeth, you're just gonna laugh. You're not gonna be like, ew, disgusting.
Speak for yourself on that one.
Really? You'll shame the possum? You're that
Yes.
kind of person?
Yes.
You need to point at it like, look
I
at
have
that thing.
questions. I have questions.
It's just, I don't know.
I
don't
think
know.
context is going to be important. Generally, yes, questionable. If it's a life and death situation, a little bit more acceptable. I don't know.
I guess.
I'm not to one or the other side here.
So if you think like a Miltank's just in their room going to town on himself, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah,
Like,
that
if
would
it's
be
in a battle.
fucking just so weird. That would be so weird.
I don't know. I mean,
Now I'm not the
like
one digging
we
myself
don't
a
need to
hole
get into
anymore.
this too deep, but I feel like humans, they sometimes consume their own bodily fluids, and it's not like completely disgusting.
I have no further
Or
questions, Your Honor.
Do we just want to backpedal? Okay, yep.
So, Cade,
Get out
what?
of
This one comes from Crimson Tie. What is your opinion on skyscrapers?
Skyscrapers. Just in general.
That is my understanding.
I mean,
You
they're...
said you had an architecture phase.
Okay, well, I think if a building looks cool, it's cool. If it I'll give you an example. There's this one super tall building in New York City that's on Billionaires Row, and it's literally a fucking rectangle. It is one of the most ugly buildings I have ever seen. But I think, there's an individual case to be made for every single building and every single skyscraper. Generally, skyscrapers are fine. I have no problem with them. Does that answer the question? Let me.
That works for me. So while Cade looks up that building,
432 Park Avenue. Oh God, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Can I just copy image?
And had a. Where's the image for the?
Boom.
That photo does.
oh,
Well.
Oh yeah, that's in good lighting, by the way. That looks like it's in golden hour.
Is it that tall in real life?
Yeah, I think so.
That boy.
oh my
is
god!
towering.
Can you imagine
Okay,
owning
from
the
the-
fucking penthouse?
Nope.
Yeah.
Dude, I would like. I could never. My
Nope.
fucking fear of heights would just might just give me a heart attack then and there.
Honestly. Like, it doesn't look
Well,
as bad from the bottom. I've got it pulled up on Google Maps. It doesn't look too bad at the bottom, but the
It probably
top.
doesn't.
Phew.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like that's why there's like different buildings that like if you look at another like the two like more famous tall buildings in New York City, the Rockefeller Center and the Empire State Building, those look great. But this just looks like a fucking rectangle.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It looks
I
like
mean,
a fucking
the one, the one right across the street from it, yeah, looks like. Or I wonder if I'm looking at the wrong building.
Yeah, that doesn't look like the same facade or whatever fancy architecture term people use. Which y'all are
Wait.
gonna have to look this stuff up for yourself. This is a podcast. This is
Oh,
in purely
I am
audio
looking.
form.
I am looking at the wrong building.
Oh.
Okay.
I was looking at the building across the street.
Hmm. See, that kind of looks normal. Yeah, like, bruh,
No,
What
that
the-
looks uncomfortable.
just no,
And no,
no,
absolutely not.
fuck no. Anyways, sorry, y'all.
Buildings.
We just went on a skyscraper rant for
Sky-
a second.
We're
I
answering
want to know why that
questions.
question was asked specifically to me as well.
That,
All of Crimson's questions were a bit random.
Okay.
yeah.
For Andy, it was is Love Vesting your jam? For Efi, it was Ace Attorney next Thursday. For me, it was How's Your Day Going?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know.
But Anne has cooked up a question
Oh.
for you, Cade.
N had deep
How-
questions. That's all I remember.
Yeah, deep questions. How has the game jam felt so far from the EV Expo staff perspective? Also, just how has being a staff member on the EV Expo been?
I mean, look, I have nothing to compare. I guess I do. I guess I was on the insert name jam team. But it's like it's very it's very chill, I think, from the jam perspective. I think it's gonna get a lot more chaotic when, you know, the games are done. I'm not a judge myself on the jam. But there are at least 4 people who I believe are judges, and I think that it's chill so far in terms of the jam stuff. What's a little bit more chaotic is just being a general member of the staff. This is like
Right.
me personally. Like, I never wanted to be on the Relic Castle staff, and I'm not a forum staff, right, on the EV Expo. That doesn't mean I don't know what's going on, right? And it's kind of for that reason. Like, I don't want to have to deal with like the day-to-day, like, this person's being an asshole, let me go ban them or whatever. Like, that's not interesting to me as much as like, and I think anybody on the EV Expo staff can probably back me up on this. I am fine, like, if you like need me to do something, like, I'll do it, but I don't want to have to like commit the time, especially in my future, when, like, you know, at some point here I'm gonna move, and some point I'm gonna have more of a life than I currently do. Like, I don't want to commit the time then to do that. Plus, like, there will be random spurts in my life. Like, again, like, beginning in 2023, I barely had any time to myself. So, like, just like stuff like that, is why. And like, I think that the main thing for me is that I know a lot more about some community members than the general person knows, and it's like, it's knowledge that I feel like I don't even have like the right to be trusted with. Like, for a lot of these people, I've like interacted with them I could count on one hand how many times I've interacted with them, if I've interacted with them at all. And it's just being able to see like because obviously if a person's normal, if they're not doing anything bad, they don't get brought up, right? It's only in bad examples when people get brought up, and you get to figure out who are the more or less bad apples. Not that I wouldn't say if there's like a complete bad apple in the community, they will be removed from the community, but like people who are, you know, like teetering on the edge of like, does this person need like a timeout or something like that? That's something that I that's information that I don't want to know. Like, if you keep that to yourself, whatever that TikTok audio is, like it's, and like, if I'm getting a little bit more like personal here, something that I'm aware of that like my family has like a history with, not like a history, but like I feel like it's just been like genetically conditioned into me, is that like I've genetically been conditioned, or like just conditioned normally, to like love gossip, and I hate that fact about myself so much.
I can't say anything. I'm a bad gossip too, because
then I feel like I'm like, oh my god, like I'm so powerful, I have all this information, and then one wrong decision can just ruin something. And then if you spill the wrong information to the wrong person, that gets back to the original person that the gossip was about, and then your trust is lost with that person. And I've seen it happen. Luckily, I don't think it's happened to a very large degree or to anybody that I particularly care about in my life, but it's something that I'm always cognizant of, and it's something that like that I'm always like, well, so I like, I don't know, I don't want to get like too deep, but like I like, some people are like, Cade, you're so quiet, you never like, or it's like, is it a guy thing that you don't ask each other about how your day or how your life's going? It's like, to me, like, number one, I hate talking about myself, so I don't this is a tough thing to do here, talk about myself, and especially my like downcomings, what's the right word, my shortcomings. Yeah, there it is. And like, it's, fuck, I lost my train of thought. It's like, it's tough for me to talk about those things, and that's why, you know, if like I put myself in other people's shoes, I don't want to be asked, like, honestly, I don't care if I'm asked how my day is going, like that does not matter to me, so I won't do that to other people. And that's where, like, I don't know how I fucking connected this to gossip, but like somehow deep in me, I want to be like, give me all the juicy gossip, but like, then I know
we don't have to talk about me.
Something, I'm probably going to do something negative or bad with that information that I feel like I should never. I don't know. Weird ass ramble.
Yeah.
I'm editing this. I honestly probably want to cut this shit out, but I'm not going to. So yeah, call me out. I don't know. Cancel me, whatever. If you can tell by now, I'm burnt out on life. Okay. Please tell me that was the deepest question, right? Shirley?
Pretty much. Elle had specific questions as well, but I don't know how to find Elle's questions because they weren't.
Elle's was in a.
Those were in my. Tweet. Yeah, I have to open up my Twitter.
I think. She to Andy, potentially. Maybe I'll find.
It was my tweet, but she did reply to Andy.
Wait. How often do you tweet Efi? Is this going to be hard to dig through?
I found it. If you all got a free ticket for you and your family to visit Tom in Japan, what are 3 things you'd like to experience / places you'd like to visit while in the country?
I remember this question. I was like, I'm so happy I'm not on this episode, because I would just like, I do really want to go to Japan at some point, but I am not educated on what is in Japan at all.
We can open it up to make it a bit more interesting. Just worldwide, I guess. Where do you want to travel?
Oh, well, everywhere. I'm so. I am. I'm not the person who decides where my family goes on vacation, but once we make that decision, they're like, Cade, figure out what there is to do there. And that's why vacations can sometimes be so fun, but very frustrating, because then like I'll have things picked out and then my family won't want to do them. And I'm like, well, then you should have picked the things to do. But
yeah.
I think I did come up with an answer for Japan. It was more general, but I think Tokyo obviously is a place that I want to visit. Because, right? Kyoto and Osaka are like the 3 cities that I would want to visit.
Right.
Hell yeah.
And then, as a bonus, I want to see Mount Fuji as well.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
That is probably the whitest answer you will ever hear, but yeah.
One of my answers was Akihabara. You are absolutely fine.
Oh, also, is Japan where they have all like the corgi cafes? I would literally just like want to spend an entire week in one of those things.
Hell
There's
yeah.
a bunch of like animal cafes in Tokyo.
Like, I want to be surrounded by dogs
hamsters, otters.
sometimes. Like, and I guess generally, in the world, God, there's so many places that I want to go. I really want to go back because I went to Europe last summer. That was part of the crazy
Nice.
beginning of 2023, by the way. I want to go back to Barcelona because we visited that city at the very end of the trip, and at that point I was so checked out and just exhausted that I feel like I did not appreciate it as much as I could have. Plus, for those of you who know anything about Barcelona, that's not the exact city that I would want to visit with my parents. I think going with some friends would be more fun.
Is it more like a party kind of place?
Yeah, there's a lot of like clubs that I at least want to experience at least once, you know. I really want to go. For me, choosing just a few spots would be crazy. I really want to go back to Italy and explore some of the places that I wasn't able to go. So, Milan, Venice. There was one like hike or like experience that I wanted to go on, but I don't think my parents would have been able to do it. And it's called like the Cinque Terre. It's like a bunch of little like picturesque Italian villages that I really want to go to. So that would be cool. I really want to go like on an Alaskan cruise at some point. That might actually be upcoming soon because I think there's a lot of other people in my family who want to do that. And then Peru has always interested me a lot. But really, like, if you tell me, hey, Cade, let's go on a vacation to X, there are very few places where I would say, no, I'm not interested in that place. Or no, or more so, no, I wouldn't go because the geopolitical climate is probably horrible. That's probably the more motivating reason why I wouldn't want to go to a certain place. I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all have answers for the more like worldly, like where do you want to visit question? Because you guys didn't really answer that.
I want to go to New Zealand at some point. In general, I just like
yeah.
scenic places. I want to visit New Zealand and I want to visit Iceland.
Oh
Just enjoy
yeah.
the scenery.
Yeah.
Beautiful places.
I've always wanted to visit South Korea and Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Which, saying South Korea makes me feel like like one of those people.
What people?
That like you. What's the Korean version of like weebs who want to go to Japan because anime and blah 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 blah.
A Korea
Like,
boo. A Korea
yeah,
boo.
okay,
Korea boo.
yeah.
You never heard that one?
I don't know.
That's a great
We got lots
term,
of
though.
lots
What?
of Korea boos in Australia.
Oh,
Never
mercy.
heard of that. I thought I was gonna say like a K-pop stan, but
Korea boo.
Fair. But yeah, like I don't know, South Korea has like such incredible technology, and
Yeah.
like so many beautiful places around there. I'd love to visit.
Hmm.
Vietnam is a place that I know so little about, and I've heard a lot of good things about their food.
Hmm.
I just want to go for the food, really.
I mean, valid.
Yeah.
We
Like I don't know anything about K-pop or any of that stuff in South Korea, but Korean food is quite nice. Korean
it's
alcohol
so
also
good.
nice,
Yep.
and I guess Korean cinema nice. So
Oh,
I could
yes.
definitely go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, soju is so good.
Yeah.
I had
It's my
dude, I had
go-to.
a friend in college. He wasn't from Korea, he was from Texas, but like he was Korean. Bro put
Mhm.
me on to like so many like whenever we would like go and get a drink, he just have this like soju that like literally tasted so good. Like you could just drink it straight. You
I
didn't
know
Nice.
it's
have to do
horrible, but
shots
it's
for it. Like,
amazing.
it's so
It's
good.
amazing. I'm glad we're talking about this on the episode that Andy's not here, but
Yeah,
I love
we
the
any
yogurt
any
flavored.
other yeah. And then like for like Vietnam, I feel like in Minnesota there's a large like Hmong population, which is like a group of people who are from like Southeast Asia. So through that we have like
Mhm.
a lot of Southeast Asian restaurants. And let me tell you, that food is amazing.
Mm.
Hell yeah.
It is so good. Pho goes crazy. I don't know if
Yes,
that's
it does.
or if that's
I think
a different kind of food, but
Pretty sure it is.
I
okay.
think pho is Vietnamese.
Yeah, that sounds right, I think. Please excuse me for being extremely white in this moment.
Yeah,
Hey, at least you're eating like foreign food.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, I have when I started like cooking for myself, I like figured out that like food can taste like something. Like if you just season it, like
Yeah.
crazy.
Who would have guessed that one?
Crazy, I know. What else? I was gonna say something else. Oh, my so when I was little, relative speaking, I did Taekwondo, which is a Korean martial art.
Oh.
Mhm.
And my sister got way more into it than I did. And they did these trips to Korea where they would like train for a week and then go sightsee for a week. So then my sister and mom went to Korea. And they got to see like
Nice.
Seoul, and they went to go to, I believe it's called Jeju Island, which is like their Hawaii.
Nice.
And like ever since, like I want to go so bad. I want to go to Korea at some point too.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Mhm.
I'd probably go watch like an esports event live too. That would be my like Korea boo type thing
Yeah.
to do.
So many of my friends back home want to like go see League of Legends World Championship in Korea or something.
Hmm.
Wow.
Um,
Yes. I don't.
was
think
that
there's-
all the questions? I hope so. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
that
talk
was
about
all the
myself.
Well, there
questions
were
I can
more
think of.
questions, but those are the like specific ones for
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Unless you want to talk about how Dodrio flies, or what were some of the other Kenny questions?
Okay, wait. Just because you're a flying Pokemon doesn't mean you fly though. So like
No, but
Dodrio
it
doesn't have
knows
to
to
fly.
move fly. It knows to move fly though.
Okay, then it takes off like an airplane, and then the two of the heads just go sideways and act as wings. How about that?
Oh, that's pretty creative.
I like that.
How about that?
And I take it you probably don't want to answer Kenny's question, best girlfriend in Misty Orange. don't know
I
if
do
you're
remember
well
thinking
versed
about
in, like,
that,
the
but
girlfriends.
there are too many girls, so I don't know.
I was surprised that we got like quite a deep and not deep, but Andy really thought about that question for a while.
I'm not gonna think about it, and I'm gonna pick the most out of pocket one. I'm going to say the Duplica, but as Ditto.
Jupiter adds ditto. Oh right, okay.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
cool. Anyway,
Oh
moving
my-
on. Ah. Well, shall we
So-
end it on that note?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's the unhinged thing we need to end on right there.
Damn, I would never
Okay.
imagine me being the one to say the unhinged thing.
I know.
Usually it's me and Tom.
Okay, well,
Send us out, Cade.
oh god, I have the pleasure and curse of doing the outro. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of the podcast. Really appreciate it. We'd appreciate it more if you could drop a like and subscribe, or if you're listening to this on podcast, I mean
Spotify.
That's yes, that one. Do whatever you do that rates the podcast highly. I don't know. I listen to Apple Podcasts, so but yeah, that is it. Next week, Wolf Tycho should be back, I believe, and maybe we'll have the first Core 4 episode in like a month, probably. I don't know.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.